6:05. Welcome back into the show, Superstation 101 Leland Live, as we are just trucking through the afternoon. A huge news day. A lot of stuff going on in the news. We'll give you any developments out of this D.C. shooting, tropical storm, all the other developing news that's happened today. Nothing really big on the government shutdown, but what I'm excited about now is a new feature that we've established here on Thursday nights from our buddies at First Partners Bank. What First Partners just is the title sponsor behind this. They believe in business education. They believe in connecting people. It's just part of their philosophy and reaching out and helping teach. And so they do community forums and business luncheons that our good friend Bethany over here puts together. We'll talk to you about some of that coming up in a minute. The other thing they do, and they've got a magazine called Tools for Success that they put out to teach entrepreneurs and business leaders, things you're always learning in business. One of the things we like to do here at the Superstation is try to turn our radio show over to that. Tonight, I've got a real, sure enough, national expert, Gayle Lantz with WorkMatters, Inc., who coaches CEOs and big shots and smart people all over the country, Fortune 500 companies and all that. Gayle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We got to meet a while back at one of these symposiums, one of these business things, and you did such a good job then. I'm glad you're able to come in and spend a little time with us tonight.
Good. Well, I'm glad to be here.
Man, the world of business, I just got out of 2 days, I was telling you during the break, 2 days of sort of sales training and management type stuff and helping get our company focused for the end. Here comes fourth quarter. A lot of folks are really focusing toward the end of the year of getting everything buttoned up. And what do you recommend right now for businesses that are trying to get it together?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the irony is that this is the time when a lot of owners should be focused, but they're not. Entrepreneurial types are all over the map. They're looking at the goals that they had at the beginning of the year, and they're looking at where they're off path. And so part of my challenge is to get them back into alignment, with what it was that they said that they most wanted to accomplish at the beginning of the year. So, one of the most important things that they can do is to revisit that goal. What was it that we said that we wanted to do? And are we meeting that objective?
So go back like your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And,
what was that goal? I don't remember exactly what
Right.
what it was that we said was so important. Or maybe there have been some new opportunities, and so they've been shifting, and which is okay. Small businesses and even large businesses need to do that, but they need to be conscious about the decisions that they're making.
And so what are the mistakes they make along the way that stop them from getting there? I guess you start off with the best of intentions, and then the day-to-day routine, the mundane part of just doing what you do kicks in. You go back to old habits?
Yeah,
What
well,
happens?
a lot of it is people just trying to do too much themselves. Business owners, executives are known for trying to take on too much themselves. Sometimes it's difficult for them to trust other people and hand off what they need to delegate. So that's one of the things that often will trip people up. And then sometimes they're just firefighting. There are things that come up in the normal course of the day. They're being reactionary instead of being strategic and
Sure.
thoughtful about where they really should be investing their time.
And then the big vision just kind of wears off, and like you said, you get amnesia.
Right.
But it's not too late. We still got 3 or 4 months left, 3 months
Yeah.
left in the year. So how do
Yeah.
you get refocused?
Absolutely. Well, gaining clarity is about reconnecting with the original vision or goals that you had for the year, and it involves usually conversation with other people in your business to make sure that people are in agreement. It's not unusual. A partner might think that they're moving in one direction, and then another partner says, no, I think we need to be doing something different. So making sure that people are in agreement about where you want to go. Looking at new opportunities too. When you start at the beginning of the year, you never know what comes up. And so sometimes people are so focused on problems when they really need to be shifting to looking at opportunities to drive the direction. So you'll become more clear about what you need to do when you're clear about the opportunities that you want to capitalize on.
Okay. Now, we're in the South. People listening to us, we get into a weird routine. It happens in a lot of businesses. Here come the holidays. We get distracted by football. Do you think some business owners start checking out a little bit toward the end of the year, and we all seem to get into an easier mode? Does that make sense to you? And we do sort of neglect that drive we had a few months ago?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are just worn out. It's the end of the
Yeah.
year. They're reaching burnout. Bethany's raising her hand over there.
Hey, Bethany, me too.
And so, yes, but I think, this is kind of the time when I'm cracking the whip with my clients to say, buckle down, get serious. You really have less time than you think you do when you're looking at fourth quarter. If you want to knock off the last 2 weeks of the year, a lot of people like to take vacation. To be realistic about what you can do. And there's a lot that you can do when you're highly focused. and concentrating on what I call high value activities, the money making activities.
Like what?
Sales, providing value to clients or customers. It depends on the business, but typically some of the lower value activities might be administrative work, things that you can hand off to other people. So that's one of the challenges with business owners in particular, is helping them stay focused on the high leverage or the high value activities that can really drive the business. When you're more clear about what those are in fourth quarter and you make a commitment to stay focused, then you'll really see results happening more quickly.
And you do one-on-one consulting with some major business types, some major executives. Do you find even people that smart and that driven have to have that? What do you do? How do you handle a one-on-one situation like that? You come in to tell them what they're doing wrong.
Well, I ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
I don't necessarily come in and tell them what they're doing wrong.
Well,
I help them.
Pretend I'm important and interview me. I want to know what you do.
Okay, I would start off and say, for example, where do you want to be a year from now?
Okay.
When you look at your business, what does that vision look like? And to have you articulate what that would look like. And then from there, I might ask what you need to stop doing that is taking you away from that path. You know, so many people think that they need to be doing new things or trying new things or doing more action when they really need to be removing things from their plate. In fact, executives should be looking to remove things so that they can really streamline how they're going about their work. So that's where we would spend a lot of time, is really trying to figure out what you're doing that's not serving the ultimate goal.
Sounds like you're saying focus on what you're good at.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing I would challenge you to understand, is what your core strengths are when you're at your best. Because when you can operate from that place, you'll see more powerful results compared to trying to be all things to all people.
So you start off at the first of the year, everybody has a little business plan, and whether it be a fiscal year or the calendar year. But things happen. You have events that change your business path, or you can lose an employee for whatever reason, or other things that are personal in nature. And so it throws you off. Is that an excuse? Or do you just budget for that and plan on maybe resetting for next year and doing it again? I don't know.
I think you have to account for that. You have to know that in any kind of business, things will come out of the blue that surprise you, and to know that that's just part of business. People are most rattled when they think that you're working a linear plan and that everything is supposed to fall in place. So if you anticipate that something will go wrong, that you might lose an employee, you might lose a project or a client, that's just part of business. And being able to keep that higher vision, like I said, to look for the opportunities, is what will propel your progress, as opposed to feeling stuck or stagnated because of that event that happened. So Too many business owners, they become obsessed with what's not working and fixated on that kind of problem.
The problems, the troubleshooting, or personnel issues, or you get bogged down.
Right.
And lose the energy and drive to keep doing what you plan to do.
Right. Well, and the other thing, you asked about how I work in my coaching, is testing the beliefs that people have around that. So I would say, what do you think what belief do you have about why that happened? And if you think, oh, that's bad, or I did something wrong as the manager, then I would encourage you to shift how you see that, to think maybe there was a reason that needed to happen. Maybe that's actually a good thing in your business, and to not beat yourself up, but to look at how you view and how you react to different situations, instead of just being so quick to react.
Well, and a lot of what you do is really just leadership. Other employees are watching how you handle these things through the course of the year. And maybe they know the path because you announced your big intentions, and then they watch you get steered off. How do you set that good example but still fix the problem?
They need to see you being optimistic about what you expect to accomplish, and to have frequent communication. In fact, in the past few months, one of the themes that keeps coming up with organizations that I'm working with is the need for managers to be in better communication with their people. It's a constant theme. Employees are hungry for information, to know where companies are on their path. They want to know that they have input. They want to contribute ideas. So management's job is really to engage employees, to be having conversations and communication constantly, not just when there's a problem, but having ongoing communication to be as strong as possible.
For example, around here, we have weekly meetings. We try to all get on the same page for a week as a business. I suppose a lot of places I've worked do that. Is it weekly? Is that often enough?
It depends on what the purpose of the meeting is. because there are some companies holding weekly meetings that are not productive.
You're just doing it because you're supposed to.
Because, oh, this is our monthly meeting or this is our weekly meeting, so we have to meet. So they're meeting for the sake of having a meeting instead of meeting for a purpose. So once you're clear about what the point of the meeting is, then you might decide we only need to meet once a month, or maybe we don't need a meeting. In fact, different generations, there's just a report I was talking to Bethany about that I have out recently, talks about older workers are used to meetings. Younger workers, they want to text. So why do we need this meeting? So you really need to be clear about why you're having the meeting and go back to the purpose to guide your activities and not just meet for the sake of meeting.
Yeah, you can notice just in my business experience, generational shifts in the older people that want a long dialogue, 2 hours, one spot, versus you get these the under 30 crowd. They want 140 characters and tell them what to do and they're out the door.
Right.
But what's the happy medium in between all that?
It's knowing your people, knowing what their preferences are, and being able to adapt your style and your approach to work best for them. And that's been a real challenge for a lot of leaders recently, is trying to understand the differences, generational differences, stylistic differences, behavioral, communication style, personality. So it can get complicated.
Big time.
But the more you understand your people and how to engage them, the better your business will be. It all boils down to leveraging the talent and the people in the organization.
So should it be more one-on-one or small groups, various departments? Because sometimes you're keyed in with certain people. They need to see their part of the plan, but you're wasting everybody, the whole staff. If you do the whole staff, it's not as effective. I'm guessing here.
Yeah, there's not any one right approach to that. Sometimes you need to pull somebody aside one-on-one if you're working on a special project together. Other times you want to include a group or a team. Again, it goes back to knowing why you're pulling the people together and not just creating a habit for the sake of thinking that you need to do something consistently.
Is in person? I'm getting free advice over here, Bethany, because I'm using all this next week. Are doing things face to face still the best way to do business? I mean, because we've got so much capability to shoot somebody a text or give them an email, or nowadays you can Skype and do voice conferencing or video conferencing. And does face-to-face still work? You got body language at play? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on the nature of the issue that you're talking about. The more sensitive, or the higher the stakes, the more important it is, I think, to meet in person.
Okay.
There are other situations that might be perfectly fine to have a phone conversation or meet by Skype or email. So, to me, the more important it is, I would make the choice to meet in person.
So, in person's considered the top tier of all communication. And the least of which is what? A quick text?
Probably a text. But meeting in person helps you build relationships. And that's what you're really trying to do in your business with your team and with your customers or your clients. So ultimately, I think face-to-face meetings are the best way to develop those relationships that build your business.
A lot of these techniques seem to be, no matter how much technology changes or even the business climate has changed, even the generations have changed, but there's some old fundamental principles of just communicating and doing good business with people. Am I wrong?
No, it goes back to communication, yes. Just being clear about your message, how you're positioning the value of what you do, understanding client needs. To me, it all boils down to communication and relationships.
My experience, Gayle, is that businesses that can't communicate internally also do a horrible job with their own clients. And that's just because if you've got an employee that's out dealing with clients, but they're not being completely forthcoming with you about all that, you've got two types of communication going on. You don't even know what's happening with your own. The face of your company is saying one thing and you're getting something else because you're not communicating right back at the office.
Right, and that's where good leadership comes in.
What, do you got to smack people around?
Well, you have to be aware of what's going on. A lot of leaders are not even aware of some of the communication that's going on within their own business. When I'm brought into projects, a lot of times I'm interviewing teams or employees within the business and then reporting feedback up the line. So ultimately, it's good if a leader or a business owner has a good pulse on what's going on in the business.
Just to be able to see that coming and manage it.
Yes,
properly.
just to understand what are the concerns. You don't want people having things bubble up under the surface. The leader ideally should create an environment where people feel like they can communicate freely and be open in sharing ideas, concerns, thoughts, solutions. So part of the leadership challenge is creating that environment where people can really thrive.
Is it necessary to meet with your peers in other businesses that do sort of your similar job or in your position to share stories, or will you pick up bad habits that way? Is that good kind of peer?
Well, I
peer
hope you don't
groups?
pick up the bad habits from that. I'm
You could.
I'm a huge advocate of connecting with your peers. As you may know, I run executive peer groups and mastermind groups
Okay.
in the local area, and they're comprised of business owners, CEOs, senior executives from non-competing industries. So I think it's a wonderful way for people to get objective perspective and ideas and feedback that they can't ordinarily find in their day-to-day business. You might find some mastermind groups that are industry specific that work very well. On the other hand, though, I think having that diversity of perspective is what really helps you gain ideas that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Because I don't think you can get an honest soundboard with your own folks, because everybody has an agenda within your company. But to go outside that box, and you might get a little honesty.
You get truth, yeah. And that's what good leaders are looking for. They want ideas. They want to know what they can do better. They want to see what's working for other people, or they'll see what's not working and know that they should avoid that. So it's just a great way to get people together and create good synergy and bring a richer array of ideas to your business.
As we read the headlines every day, I mean, we deal with a lot of news and politics and things like that, and all this stuff affects the business cycle, the mood of the country. We're dragging into 5 years of a pretty stagnant economy, but people are finding ways to be efficient and survive, despite the shenanigans in Washington. How do you feel like, this is just a personal question, meeting with CEOs and meeting with people that are leaders, what's their mood right now? Are people optimistic? Are they just surviving and finding a way to get through? What are they saying to you?
The strongest leaders that I know, they are optimistic, and they're focusing on what they can control versus what they can't. They're looking at opportunities that they can leverage, core strengths that they can leverage. And so, again, talking about the importance of staying focused, you could easily get distracted and concerned about what's going on in the environment. But the strongest leaders, I think, really are good at influencing and helping others see possibilities that they want to move toward. That's what makes them so effective.
Or even, I'm guessing you could use the bad economy and the current business climate for as an excuse for your own failed productivity sometimes. Just saying, well, business is tough right now. I'm not going to do any better.
Yeah, see, that goes back to the belief. What is your belief? If you believe that that's the case, you'll operate from that place. If you believe that this is an opportunity to develop new strength, to create new opportunities, maybe to move your business in a different direction that you've been wanting to do anyway, but maybe haven't had the guts to do, it all depends on how you view it.
Well, so I'm confused. How do you balance do what you're good at versus look for new opportunities and take a risk?
Well, those should be congruent. The opportunities should be a reflection of your strength and the aspirations that you have. So those should really be aligned. They're not mutually exclusive. The more you focus on your strengths, the more new opportunities will develop.
First Partners Bank bringing us all this good advice. I feel like, Bethany, I'm learning something every week when you bring folks in here. I'm getting my own little business class every night. Now, before we go any further, I wanted to ask you about something because we did it so late in the show last week. People were calling me afterwards, but we have a social media event. You call it Social Media 101, brought to you by First Partners Bank, and you're going to have some people over in Irondale, and you moved this around town to make it convenient for folks. It's a lunch event. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's Social Media 101 workshop, and we're going to be covering Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and basically from the new user standpoint. So this is a step-by-step tutorial, how to set up your different social media channels, how to engage with your audience on there, what your artwork should look like. So it's a very step-by-step. We use examples. I actually teach this one. So
why are you looking at me? Because Bethany's already scolded my Facebook page, and she goes, "The picture's horrible, and you got to fix your logo." And she's like, "Want to give me some free advice?" I'm like, "I need to listen to all."
Yeah, she came in here and told me the same. Yeah. She's like, that picture sucks.
Yeah, the picture's awful. We look like we're on a hay bale.
Yes.
we know.
There's some ad-libbing going on here.
I didn't say that. She did not express it that way. Okay, so let me take what you're doing, Bethany, with First Partners and doing this. These events are great because it allows these peer groups to develop. It gives you people who have common, challenges, in this case, social media, to try to pull that together. in a business setting. It's exactly what Gayle was just talking about.
And we get great feedback at these workshops too. When we did the first Social Media 101 out in Homewood, there was a lady there who was telling me that her business increased 500%. She had a retail clothing store, and her business increased 500% in 3 months when she started Pinterest.
Pinterest?
Yep.
I don't even know what Pinterest is. I see people posting pictures. That's a whole other show. Do you coach people on dealing with social media?
No, I'm not a social media coach.
Okay, you're not.
No, I stick to leadership.
Okay, good. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to take your two worlds and try to make them collide right now.
Yeah.
In a world. Okay, you ready?
I'm scared.
You've got good leaders with good personal skills. They're leading their company, but technology's moving so fast. Mm-hmm. I know personally a lot of guys who have made a fortune. They're holding their business together, but they're afraid of this new world of it, and it affects almost every business. The way we communicate, all social media. They've got employees that are out there doing things on social media, but they've got to embrace this kind of stuff.
They absolutely have to. In fact, the best leaders are good learners, and they're open to that. They don't jump blindly into it. They need to be strategic, and that's the key to being most successful, I think, in leveraging social media, is knowing why you're doing it and knowing where your market is and what social media they're tuned into.
Some businesses have had concern about liability.
Sure.
With social media, once it's out there, it's kind of out there, and you can't pull it back. So there's always this potential for PR disaster, or you make a mistake and you can't get it back. But if you have to approach it very carefully and decide and be purposeful about the kinds of things that you're going to post and who you have in charge of your page. Somebody you trust, a disgruntled employee in charge of your social media probably wouldn't be a good idea.
I guess Gayle would say, don't fire them until you get the password.
Right.
And then move on.
Right.
That's all fascinating stuff. Gayle, tell us more about how if folks are fascinated with your conversation and your skills and what you bring. How do they reach you to talk more to you about your coaching business?
The best way is to probably visit the website, WorkMatters.com. I work with a wide range of businesses in a number of ways, from facilitation, speaking, coaching, consulting. So it's really oriented around whatever the needs and objectives of the company are, and I craft the right approach to work. So,
and your client list is very impressive. I mean, you've got people, and Bethany sent me all this stuff. Fortune 100 companies, Microsoft, Lockheed Martin, all these people.
Yep.
They bring you in, and you just break it down for them.
Right. I see what they want to accomplish and then take it from there. But yeah, the size of the business, it doesn't really matter. I work with large and small businesses, especially in the local area. There are a number of small businesses that I work with.
It's good just to have an outside set of eyes.
It is, right. When I was in the corporate world, I wish that I had somebody that I could turn to and get some objective feedback and help me think strategically and make decisions. So I kind of became that person that I most needed to have. And
saw a need and filled it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Gayle Lantz, she's the founder of WorkMatters, and she just gave you her contact. Bethany, let's tell them once again where we can go to this First Partners Social Media 101 event.
It'll be at the Irondale Public Library on October 29th. That's a Tuesday from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And if you RSVP, the name is Michelle Hamrick at 205-951-1415.
First Partners, look, they're outstanding business bank. They understand business. They want to help people learn. They present this segment to you on Thursday nights. I learn something every time we do it, and I hope the audience does too. Thanks, Gayle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thanks.
All right. Time to hit the bottom of the hour. We'll be back here in just a minute at 6:30.
At First Partners Bank, our passion is for helping your business thrive. As our customers go about the business of building their successes, we're working right alongside them, because when they dream, we dream. Part of being successful in business is knowing when opportunity is knocking. When the former owner of South Central Steel began dropping hints that he wanted to retire and sell the company, then employee Andy Schroeder recognized a chance to be his own boss and purchased the company in December 2012. Knowing he was going to need a banking partner to help navigate the purchase, Andy called First Partners Bank. He says, the experience at First Partners Bank was personal. Their team was intimately involved with every step of the process. As a customer of First Partners Bank, you enjoy the privileges of our partnership banking philosophy. What's more, First Partners Bank has the business banking solutions specifically designed to save your business time and money. Discover what it means to have a banking partner, because when you succeed, we succeed. Call us today at 205-822-5500 or visit our website at firstpartnersbank.com. First Partners Bank, member FDIC.